Okay, we're live. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Thanks so much for coming. Looks like we have some comments. It's great to see you all. This is the first Oathbringer live stream for Stormalong 2020, and we read through chapters 1 through 30 for this section. So we hope that we'll hear your thoughts on that tonight. And my co-hosts here all have their own channels, and they're all linked down below with some of their specialty videos and playlists and stuff like that. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves, starting with Bridge Boy?
Sure. My name is Ryan from Seeking Stories. Kristen had another commitment and couldn't join us tonight, but Kristen and I do videos on basically book and movie analysis and throw in Legos where we can.
It's a great mixture. If you guys have ever dreamed of seeing adaptions of The Way of Kings, you should definitely check out Bridge Boy's channel. He loves to talk about screenwriting and stuff like that. So, and he actually has a video about adapting The Way of Kings into a movie. It's very entertaining. And we have Music Spren over here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm Victoria from A Musical Bookworm is my channel, and I'm also reading Stormlight for the first time, just like Ryan and Kristen.
And Victoria loves to make music videos about Stormlight Archives, and she has a couple videos on the Spren and their bonds with the humans, and they're really, really lovely music videos, and you should definitely check them out. They are, I think one of them is linked below, but I should add the second one. I haven't yet, I don't think. We also have some other... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I said you're too kind, Christy.
No, they're really, really beautiful. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. They're wonderful songs. And she composed them herself, you know? It's just amazing. And hey, Noah. Let's see. And then we have, the Adolin Private Detective. Shalon was doing so much of the detecting in this one, though. I don't even know if we can give Adolin that credit.
That was just the part of the course, you guys discrediting Adolin every turn. My name is Michael Nip. I'm a basic booktuber, just hanging out with some friends. I read this series earlier this year, so I'm familiar with it already.
Awesome. And Michael has like a bunch of Stormlong videos as well. He and Ryan both, I almost just call you Bridge Boy now. Michael and Ryan do both have playlists down below, so definitely check those out. There's a really interesting one that Michael did on Vorinism and Catholicism, and I highly recommend that one if you haven't seen it yet. Let's see. All right. Okay, I think that's all the announcements. We may have some more read-ins coming up very soon on Victoria's channel, so we will let you guys know maybe at the next live stream when that will be. Let's see. I'll look it up in a minute. Maybe we
haven't looked at a date yet.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But we'll figure it out and let you guys know.
Yes. Okay, so why don't we get started? I'm going to put a discussion question up here for you guys, and you can decide to answer that or just chat. We're really here to chat with you guys and with each other, and it doesn't have to be structured, but I do have questions just to kind of inspire conversation. And we will have an open mic section at the end where you can bring up something that's like a bigger discussion that you would really like to have, a wider discussion. But if you have comments or whatever, please do share them. So I'm just going to put the first one up here, and we can get started. So we just started Oathbringer. Are you hooked? And if so, when did you become hooked?
Who's first?
Let's go with Frick.
So when I jumped into this book initially, was hot off the trails of Words of Radiance. So I was still kind of riding that high. So I definitely was solid in reading at this point. I'm not actually rereading it as much right now. But with my initial read through, that's where I was, and that kind of continued for a good portion into the book.
All right. What about you guys?
Well, I think for me, it's kind of like, imagine you could go to any restaurant in the world, but all you really want is Chick-fil-A. Oathbringer is really good, but all I want is Words of Radiance right now. I am enjoying Oathbringer. I'm hooked with the characters. I don't think that'll ever go away, but I'm not really hooked into the storyline yet, just because I don't know what the crap is going on. I think that's the point. You're not supposed to know.
Yeah, I feel similarly, actually. Yeah, Oathbringer has had already just some chapters that have been more political intrigue and not as action packed. Although there still has been like a lot of action. I have a lot of questions. I feel like we're just trying to figure things out right now more than like the momentum's going.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we haven't gotten to the momentum exactly yet. I kind of feel like we just started to get into the momentum at the end of chapter 30. So I'm like, it was so hard not to keep reading. I really wanted to read the next few chapters, but I didn't. I was good. But I was hooked at Esh and I introducing the book, and I was excited for maybe more Esh and I, but we haven't really gotten as much Esh and I yet. I thought the prologue was really interesting with her perspective. So I'm enjoying learning all about like some more Gavilar backstory and Parshendi backstory. So I want more of that right now.
Mm.
Yeah, Christy cut us off at a cruel place.
It's happened before. I'm sure it'll happen again. So yeah, I was kind of with Angela on this one. I really enjoyed Kaladin's. I was really hooked into Kaladin's portions, and even though I'm enjoying, learning about Dalinar's past and stuff like that, it's the storyline of that didn't like hook me right away when I was first reading it. But wherever Kaladin is, I'm always like really focused. So he pretty much carries me through.
Yeah, I like that we're getting some info about the rest of Roshar through Kaladin. I like that we're seeing that perspective and like how it's affecting the little people, you know. So I do like that we're doing that, but we haven't seen quite as much of Kaladin in action yet. So hopefully we will.
Yes.
Yeah, Kaladin really is a nice turn because he's been all we've seen him for so long is in the Bridge 4 group, you know, in the surrounding area. So it's cool to see him off on his own, really coming into his own more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that too.
I agree.
What? Not Dalinar? I'm kidding.
I think Dalinar is awesome, but I mean, it just feels like Kaladin's the up and comer who doesn't have like tons of bad things in his past, and
he's the chosen one.
Yeah, kind of.
The farm boy.
Yeah.
I was kind of interested that Dalinar's flashback started where they did. I was kind of expecting it to go much further into his past, like seeing Dalinar and Gavilar like actually like making plans to try to take over the world instead of it being like smack in the middle. And maybe that comes later. Maybe he goes back in time even further. I don't know. But I was not expecting Dalinar to like be right in the middle of like a battle in the first flashback. I
think every flashback we've gotten so far is him in a battle, isn't it? Except for the stake.
Yeah.
That was the only one where he wasn't fighting. He was kind of fighting.
Well, there's fighting, fighting in the middle there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, rich on the great quotes here. Oh my gosh.
Yes. We love Snarky Dalinar.
Yes, we do.
It looks like there's some people that are really enjoying Shallan. Nate is particularly enjoying Shallan the Detective. Is anybody else really liking that?
Yeah, I'm very confused about the Ghostbloods and how they're going to factor into everything ultimately. I feel like we keep getting hints that we're getting more ghost blood information, and then we just kind of get hit. I don't know. I'm ready to see how they weave in if we ever get that information in this book.
Yeah. Watch Sanderson pull a total Sanderson on himself and make it so that it's like, oh, the Ghost Bloods are actually like the good guys in the story or something like that.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of seeing that with the Parshendi. Like the Parshendi, seeing more the humanity of the Parshendi, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, that's the interesting thing because it's like we're expecting these crazy Voidbringer attacks, and it's like maybe a few small skirmishes, but they're not who like this. They have the potential to be a dangerous threat, but they're not this murdering force that they were projected to be. So that's taking a turn for sure.
Mm-hmm. More Adeline love.
That's for you, Michael.
I also want to know what Adolin is thinking. He's in a rough situation. Like, how relatable is it that you have to investigate a murder that you did?
Yes. Or have your girlfriend do it.
Well, you know.
I so agree with this. That
Yeah.
was like really powerful.
Yes.
Is there something funny happening?
Well, Peter's calling me out. A couple live streams ago, we talked about how I forgot something that I thought was semi-important about this series. Yeah, I forgot Kaladin had another brother. Completely forgot about it. So when I saw people talking about it, I thought it was a spoiler for the next book. And I was very confused. And I was like, oh no, he has another brother. And somebody was telling me that it's an Oathbringer, and I completely forgot. The reason that I think that's important is if the series takes place, the second set of the 5 books takes place like 10 to 15 years after this, then Kaladin's brother could very likely be a main character.
So when Kaladin dies in book 4, we have an heir.
Interesting.
I wouldn't go 4, but maybe 5.
Maybe 5. Would Sanderson do that? Would he really do that? He's not a grimdark guy.
I think that it's a little getting ahead of ourselves to make predictions for book 5, but I think book 5 is going to be very bad. I think bad things will happen.
Yeah. I mean, if there's like a 15-year gap, something's got to go down.
I think we're going to get our Empire Strikes Back.
That would make sense. I mean, the middle of the story is usually where things get really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
The midpoint, as it were.
And there's always like the dark before the storm. I forget what term John Truby uses, Ryan. But,
Yeah.
There's always some dips in there.
Yeah. I've heard a few different types or phrases for that. I've heard Journey to the Inmost Cave, Darkest Night of the Soul. There's a few.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Or like there's like a symbolic death of some kind.
Yeah, I think it's what Truby uses, symbolic death.
Yeah.
But I think that's supposed to be at like the 2/3, 3/4 point. So we got like, book 7 before we get that.
Now, what is Rich saying? Shalon? It was Shalon. And then...
Yeah, Shalon has been so interesting with her multiple personalities, and we're creating new ones for her. And then there was even that passage where she was even doubting, like, she was like, wait, did I kill my brothers? And Pattern was like, no, girl.
Yeah.
But she was like having a mental like meltdown and thinking maybe I killed my brothers too. And Pattern was like, no, you're good. Calm down.
Don't you remember? It's like,
yeah.
Don't.
Well, and on that note, Victoria, it's like Pattern several times has been like, I can die and you can get a new spren. And she's like, no.
I know. Whenever he says that, it's like breaks my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
He's my favorite friend, Pattern is.
Oh, absolutely. Pattern and Wendell.
Wendell's funny too. I mean, and Syl is great. And she's wow, a gloom friend. She's like the perfect person to be with Kaladin all the time.
Yeah. I want to learn more about what is Brenneran's. Is it Glyph, I think?
Gliss?
Gliss? Yeah.
Gliss. Yeah. Me too. I wanted to learn more about Renarin in general.
Yes.
Yeah. I know we talked about this a few live streams ago, but which flashback book is he? Did Sanderson update that recently?
Keep talking, I'll find it.
I mean, always, of course, scheduled to change, because I think book 2 is supposed to be Dalinar's flashback originally, and then that got moved. And then I think
Okay.
book 4 was supposed to be Zeth's flashback, and then that got moved to book 5, maybe.
Leslie, that would be crazy if Shallan was actually also an image and just like we
Oh,
didn't.
Who
goodness
knows
gracious.
who she really is? Like, there's a couple options.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 7 is when that's
Oh,
estimated.
man.
That's the
That's too
era
long.
or arc 2, I guess.
Renner will be like
Yes.
the hero of the second half.
Okay, yes, more Renarin. We have some Renarin fans. Renarin has a huge fan base for the small amount that he's done.
Yeah.
But everything that he did was important, so.
I feel like deservedly so. For anyone who's read or working their way through Warbreaker, like the big idea at the beginning is someone being redundant. And Renarin could be argued as being redundant, but he's making himself not be. Like, he's kind of saying, I know that like I'm useless to most people, but I want to like inject myself into Bridge 4, he didn't really have a choice with being a Radiant, but he's trying to become the person he needs to be ultimately when the rest of the world doesn't expect anything of him, which is really cool.
Okay, I'm going to put up another question, but continue talking about whatever you'd like to talk about with the hook hashtag. And we'll do let's hear just some more general thoughts about how you feel about Oathbringer and like how it compares to the other novels. We've talked about it a little bit, but if you have more comparisons, I know a lot of people are fans of Words of Radiance over Oathbringer.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I think for me, the reason why I like Words of Radiance so much better is 2 reasons. One, there's like the ticking clock aspect. It's like right from the beginning, you have Dalinar's continued visions, and then you have the markings inside the castle basically saying, at the end of this time, something is going to happen. So we have that in the back of our heads that something is going to happen and it's going to be bad, and the characters have to deal with it and deal with it quickly. Whereas in Oathbringer, we don't have that. And then in Words of Radiance, you have all these characters really putting themselves in situations where they need to really develop quickly, like Kaladin with Dalinar, Shallan without Yasna, and just new relationships that have conflict at the middle of them, a lot of internal conflicts. And it's really cool seeing those unwind with the backdrop of the ticking clock happening at the same time. And not to say that Oathbringer doesn't have those relationships for sure. It's just, at least for me, it's like, okay, something is happening for sure, but what is it? And, Kaladin is dealing with something on his own, so we don't get his Bridge 4 interactions, which are fun. Shallan is dealing with her own things, and she's with Adolin and all that. But I feel like the conflict between the allies hasn't come head to head yet like it does in the other books, and that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, I agree. The Way of Kings was such a setup book, and then the Words of Radiance could just go. And maybe Oathbringer is also kind of just like setting up right now before we go into the next phase. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of how I feel right now. I could be totally wrong, but kind of how I'm seeing it so far.
I agree. I think the series could have totally wrapped up at the end of Words of Radiance, and we would have all been happy. But then we wouldn't have been able to keep doing this, so it's all good.
I agree with Angela. I'm enjoying it more on a reread so far than I did on my first read. On my first read, I was just like, I wanted more Words of Radiance. Exactly what you guys were saying.
Yeah.
But this time through, now that I kind of know some of what's going on better, I'm enjoying it more. Mm-hmm. There's a lot there buried beneath the surface. It's just not... Let's see. I don't know how to describe it, but it's not quite Words of Radiance, but there's a lot there. I just have to dig a little harder to get there.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of foreshadowing that us newbies are totally missing.
It feels like if you are invested in these series and these characters, by the time that you get to Oathbringer, Brandon didn't have to try so hard with pacing. He just kind of was like, you know what? I'm going to write the story, and I don't have to make the full arc because you already are sucked in.
Yep.
Like if you read the first 2, you want to know what happens to Kaladin, you want to know what happens to these characters. You're going to find out what happened to Dalinar, and then he makes Shallan do some crazy stuff. He's like, this will be a hook for a little bit, and then he's like, just eat it. I guess it's a big. You eat this elephant one bite at a time.
Right.
He knows you're gonna keep reading.
Mhm.
That's true.
That's very true.
Well, it's like a long-running TV show. You know, pick any procedural show or anything like that. It's like there's going to be some not so great episodes in the middle because the writers, I mean, not if they're trying to write a bad episode, but they know the audience loves the characters and they can afford, I guess, to have a less than good episode every once in a while because the fan base is so big.
We have some fun stuff, like when Kaladin goes back to Hearthstone, like that stuff is cool, and there is the satisfying confrontation with Roshone. You know, he gets to see his family again, but yeah, it does feel like a middle series of a TV show where it's like this stuff is important and it's really cool, and it feels like I'm fleshing out a character.
Mm-hmm.
But there's less urgency right now.
Yes. On that note, while you're thinking of it, this was I guess the hook for me when he goes back to Hearthstone and he has that first little conversation with Roshone. In my mind, I'm like, just pull out the freaking shard blade and show it to everyone. And he finally does. Like, yes. Finally, we get like this epic moment with Cal and just kind of just showing who he is. It was great.
Yeah,
That was great. It was nice too when Shallan got to like share some of her secrets finally, sharing about Veil and the light weaving and stuff with like Dalinar and Adolin and everything. It was like, wow, the secrets are finally being revealed here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They all keep a lot of secrets.
Yes.
Shallan more than others.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess Dalinar's secrets are secrets to us, but the rest of the world kind of knows about them.
it's such a weird, yeah. I don't want to say too much, but like it's such a weird situation because there's so many things that Dalinar doesn't even remember. Mm-hmm. So like it's like this is the section where he finally remembers his wife's name, but everybody else seems to be like telling him things about himself.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is such a weird thing because we're learning it and he's learning it, but it's not the like stereotype amnesia storyline.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different kind of amnesia storyline.
Yeah, it's like here's this magic that is totally unbreakable, and now we're gonna break it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, because we don't know how he's regaining his memory. It doesn't really make sense. There's so many little mysteries in there. That's part of what I'm noticing the second time around is he's leading us along with so many little mysteries, which is really fun. I'm enjoying that because I don't remember a lot of the answers if they get answered or not.
The little mystery stuff is like the stuff that I find super, super interesting in like most fantasy series. Like that's what I'm liking about Mistborn as I'm reading through that. Is like there's like the big magic stuff, which is awesome. Like we got to see that a lot in Words of Radiance. We got to see it a lot in Way of Kings at the end, at least. But there's also like these little things. It's like, well, we think we understand all these things, but what is that weird thing over there? What the heck was that?
Yeah.
Just when you think, oh, I think I understand something, he like introduces something that, you know, kind of contradicts what you think you know. So you never really are like stable.
And the final chapter for this week's reading, I think, was chapter 30. The whole time you're like, what the heck is going on? This is super weird.
Yeah. I would be thoroughly like worried all the time if I was Sanderson, the writer. It's like you have to keep that in your head for so long because you know the whole thing and you have to say, okay, what part of the mystery have I revealed and what part haven't I? Like I would be terrified to be at like signing events and all that and ask the question like, did I write that in a book yet? Or is that the next one?
You know, it probably wouldn't be that hard since he's like drafting his books 5 times before he released it. He's like, no, I didn't write that yet. Terravanti of Mr. T. That's good.
That is good. Oh man, he's forever gonna be that now, isn't he?
Mr. T.
Yeah, I was really glad to see Mr. T come into the main storyline. I was wondering when that was gonna happen. And now he's there hanging out.
In Victoria, it's like one of the few times in the series where like we're in on something before the characters are, I feel like.
We're like, I know about this.
Okay, I'm going to put up a new question, and you guys can do whatever you want. But what does everybody think about the contrasts between old and young Dalinar? I know Leslie was saying earlier that the young Dalinar scenes are kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I think Sanderson is doing such a good job of showing how different the two Dalinars are that sometimes it's hard for me to see crossover or to even believe it's the same person.
Right.
I'll be reading about the old Dalinar and I'll be like, how did he get from point A to point B? It's such a different person. At the same time, I can see some similarities in like there's still a conquesting Dalinar in there, and it comes out every so often. But he's worked so hard to push it down. So it's really showing me like how much Dalinar just did a 180 and wanted to totally distance himself from being that type of Alethi male warrior.
Yeah, I guess 37 years can do a lot to a person.
That's true.
Yes, that's very true.
Older or younger Dalinar has had some funny moments for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will call young Dalinar Big D and old Dalinar Dadinar.
Dalinar. Yeah.
The thing that we know going into, because like, all right, not to be too tangent, the Way of Kings, we know a lot of things about Kaladin's flashbacks before we see them in the flashbacks, because future or like present Kaladin will say things, and so like we knew about Tien's death ahead of time, like way ahead of time. We knew about certain facets of that stuff ahead of time, and then the main big reveals were like the stuff with Amaram. With Shallan, we kind of knew a lot of like. It was like we knew that her dad was abusive. We knew that her family was not okay because of it. We knew that her dad, like for some reason, didn't treat her the way that he treated the other people. But the big reveals were the end when you're like, oh frick, she killed everybody. And then, so for this book, we do. It's another situation where we do know a lot of things going in. We know that like Dadinar used to be friends with Sadeas. We knew that, like, to be friends with Sadeas in Alethi society, he had to be a certain way. We knew that he was called the Blackthorn because he was used to beat everybody into submission. But because we don't have to live them, because we don't have to see all of them firsthand, we're like, oh, we know that he did those things in the past. We don't always make the mental connection of what that looked like, living with it day to day and having to see him do the actions. And so I think that like this is a much better example of this than in the first book, where we kind of knew what was going to happen with Kaladin's flashbacks. I don't think they always delivered as hard. For Dalinar's flashbacks, there's a lot of these things we already do know. Like if we think about like what are the implications of what Dalinar used to be, we know these things, but when you see them firsthand, it hits real different.
Yeah.
Because of the Sanderson book, there's a lot of crazy drops to happen too. So it's not like you know every single thing, but I feel like the moment to moment, even when we're visiting stuff we already knew, it feels different because we're not learning new information necessarily, but it feels so different when you're doing it.
Yeah. Especially that moment where Dalinar, for a split second, is gonna like kill his brother and take over the throne. It's like, whoa, like that explains a lot later on why he's so hestant.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but he actually references that in the first two books. There are times when he's remembering that. He's like, I freaking almost took over the throne at one point.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know how close.
And now we see how close he really was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a different character completely. It's hard to believe that they're the same person.
And on that note, too, it's interesting seeing the other flashback characters around Dalinar, especially Sadeas' wife, how she was kind of so in on everything. And now she's like enemy number one in Urithiru.
Yeah. She's scary.
Yeah, so Adolin was really frustrated about that and about her teaming up with Amaram because he's like, I thought I took care of this problem. Like, that's why I killed Sadeas. Like,
yeah.
But of course, it doesn't work out like that. You can't just murder people because they get in your way, because somebody else will fill their shoes. It's not like that's going to solve all your problems.
Especially in a Sanderson book.
Yes.
I feel like Christy was saying that to me though, not to Adolin.
No, oh no. I know you're an Adolin fan for some reason, but I'm just saying.
It's very in line with his character to just act without thinking through long-term consequences. I think it's just very him.
Yes.
With the best intentions, right? He's well-intentioned, which is why we like him. But
Yeah, he's endearing.
I didn't think it through completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. He probably wasn't necessarily thinking, I need to just solve this problem. Do you want to share your theory on that, Michael? About maybe not. The
What
edge
was my
dancer
theory
thing?
again? Sorry.
The edge dancer thing?
Oh, I'll probably wait until later because
Okay.
I might dive in. Yeah, I definitely have to dive into spoilers.
Okay.
The thing I will mention though is Angela in the comments says the nameless archer we meet in the first flashback is that the same archer at the Rift who's the current Ardent he's always arguing with. I was going to ask Rich what he thought about that because we were talking about that earlier this week.
Oh.
I was like, I think that's the implication, but I don't know if that's. I thought maybe that was just me, but I could be wrong.
I thought of that.
Yeah.
I did notice that too, and I thought it was the same person also.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
I didn't remember if that was me inferring or if there was something that said that.
Yeah,
Okay,
Kadash.
Kadash. Okay, sweet.
Okay, cool. Nice. Sanderson bring it all together, as always.
Yes. That makes sense. Yeah. Midinar. Where you can see that's an interesting actually, yeah, that's kind of true because even though he's in the process of changing when we first meet him, like he's already made a lot of progress, but
I think we're just seeing him after he got the Unite them, right? And Way of Kings. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right. And he's really confused about what that even means. Like his horizons have not been broadened yet. But yeah, he's always had seeds of good in him, like most people. And like Adolin. Okay. Oops. Thank you for the quotes, Rich. We appreciate it.
I think my favorite Rich quote from today was just the emojis of steak.
Right? Okay. So we have something different that we were thinking. Oh, what is it?
That's a good point. That's a good point right there.
Yeah, it's a massive implication in the series. And I mean, like, I don't know like how much we want to dive into it, but like even at the end of Way of Kings, like how does he handle the confrontation with Elhokar? He freaking beats him up. And he's like, ship up or ship out. Like everything that he does by overpowering.
Mm-hmm.
So even like when he's trying to be better, he might still have these moments.
Right. Yeah. But the whole world knows he has that history. And it was just so heartbreaking that one queen from the other country, I can't remember her name. She's like, even if you're like being serious and genuine, like I still will be hesitant.
Just strategically, she doesn't want to put an army in the middle of her land.
Yeah.
As a leader, that's not a good move.
Well, if you compare it to like World War II stuff, before the war officially started, when Hitler was invading all these different countries, he kept saying, "Oh, this is the last one, and this is the last one. Like I'm done. I won't invade anymore." And then a few months later, he would go invade another country. And it's kind of the same idea. It's like if someone's been invading countries all his life, it's like if someone says, "Oh, I'm not going to do it anymore," like you wouldn't believe him. Like that'd just be ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's multiple people talking about that. I think that when your brother gets killed and you are too drunk to do anything about it, it might wake you up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. I think Dalinar is currently, or Brandon is currently exploring the concept of, how far is too far when you're saying the end justifies the means? Because and Dalinar is struggling with that issue. He's like, I need to seize power for the good of Alethkar. I've already done that. Do I need to become king? Well, yeah, it looks like it. How far am I willing to go in order to ensure that, I guess, humanity or Rashar in general is not destroyed by the Voidbringers? And the problem that we always see with decisions to just like, okay, well, I'm just going to take care of it myself. Like sometimes we see that, yes, it's necessary. But then even sometimes when we think, yes, it's necessary, there's some horrible twist, like in a Shakespeare tragedy, where it's like, oh, yeah, that didn't solve your problem. It actually made it a lot worse.
Yeah.
And you now have blood on your hands.
Yeah, Sanderson's really good at exploring all those different moral arguments. That was so interesting. I think the scenes you're referring to, Christy, when he's speaking to Mr. T and then a few of the other characters, and they were all giving different perspectives. And it's like, you can imagine Dalinar's mind spinning. It's like, what do I even do with all this?
And what do you guys think of Dalinar becoming in a king position, and the whole conversation between him and Elhokar? And Elhokar was like, "Well, you kind of made me do this, but you're not you're not going to admit it, but this is what you've been doing all along." I found that really interesting. But like Dalinar is taking power in all these different ways, but maybe doesn't even realize he's doing it because he's so used to doing that. And then Elhokar just in the end was like, fine, here you go. You're a king or a high king.
Yeah. High King Dalinar.
It makes me feel bad for Elhokar because Elhokar is not a good king, but I think he wants to be a good king.
Right.
But he is getting walked all over by people that could help him be a good king.
Yeah. I feel bad for him too.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there was the whole conversation that Christy just brought up about the ends justify the means. And in a way that could apply to how Dalinar is walking over Elhokar. I mean, the conversation was, with him and Tormengian was about, killing people. But in a way, Dalinar is justified walking over Elhokar, even subconsciously, because that's what he needed to do for the end justifying the means, just in a different way.
Right. He's already done it in a couple instances. So he's just trying to decide how far is too far. How far can I go with this and still be, I don't know, moral, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's trying to live up to exactly, because currently there is no working religion that he's aware of that's actually truthful. So I don't know. Go ahead.
You could argue the end justifying the means goes against the core ideal of Journey Before Destination. Like the idea of we have to do the right thing even if bad things happen. Like he's directly standing against the first ideal of all the orders, I think, when he does things like that. And it's like when we're in his head, like when he steps over Elhokar in the Way of Kings, we're like cheering for him. We're like, yes, finally. But there's consequences to that. Like it's more complicated.
Yeah.
I don't think Syl would have liked that move.
Well, Syl doesn't even like him punching Roshan, and we like Kaladin punching Roshan.
Yeah.
Roshan, man, dude. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a difference between what Elhokar did and what Roshan did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Elhokar was just young and bumbling and listening to the wrong people. Of course, he's not even as young as Adolin. He's not as young as I keep thinking he is, as young as he acts.
I think he's older than me in real life.
Yeah.
But he was another example of someone that was kind of raised in a very privileged position who probably didn't have to do much because his daddy had just united everybody.
Yeah. Because in the Dalinar flashbacks, I think Yasna had been born at this point, but Elhokar had not yet, right? As far as where we are.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? I was looking at the lives.
Yeah, I think where we are in the flashbacks, Yasna had been born, but Elhokar had not yet, right? Because I know they mentioned that like they had like a baby girl.
Oh.
Gavilar and Nuvani.
Oh, I missed that.
I don't know.
It's like a
I
throwaway
missed that
line
too.
somewhere.
I missed it.
Good question. Okay.
Because I'm just thinking, based on how much Elokar saw or didn't see of the conquest, that would influence him as well. And it sounds like where we are in the flashbacks, the conquest is starting to wrap up a bit, potentially. And if Elokar isn't born yet, then if he missed the whole thing, I mean, that would impact him in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that moment too, Angela.
Yasna acts so much older that even if she was younger, we wouldn't believe it.
Well,
That's
doesn't Navani say that at one point? She says that Yasna was always like a little adult or something. I
Yep.
remember mine like that.
She says that in book 2, yeah.
Navani kind of like mourns that. She wanted to be able to like care for her daughter a little more. But
Yeah.
Yasna is like, no, I got it.
Mhm.
I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen Yasna again yet. After that
Kind of.
big reveal at the end of book 2.
Okay,
But I
is
guess
she on the
we have-
cover? Is that her? Is that Yasna on the cover art? That's been my question.
That was my question too. It doesn't look like Shallan.
It's supposed to be Yasna on the cover,
It is,
which is
Okay.
like there's a lot of complaints because it's kind of a spoiler for Words of Radiance.
Yeah, good point.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Okay. Thank you for confirming that.
We still have what, like 900 and some pages to go, so we got time.
Lots of. I try Horneater White at least once.
Oh man, that whole sequence with Shallan, just like I can get drunk and then use Stormlight to get rid of my hangover.
That was great. Shallan, she always surprises me.
Yeah,
She's full of surprises.
She's so good at figuring out how things work, like just kind of messing around until she figures it out with
Like,
the
in the
Stormlight. Yeah, in the moment. Like she ad-libs it all.
yeah.
I think, okay, maybe this is unpopular. I think she gets way too freaking lucky with some of this crazy stuff she's trying to do. Like
Yeah.
I feel like if this was like any other book, including like another Sanderson book that wasn't Oathbringer and he wasn't trying to get something done, there would be so many fail cycles before she succeeded at some of this
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely.
She walks in there and she just is a bumbling idiot. And then she like pulls it off. And like if she does fail, there's almost no major repercussions.
Right.
That was kind of easy. Like you should have made that a little harder, I think.
The only thing I can think of is that maybe Sanderson's doing that just to set up for one like massive failure later on that's just totally gonna like ruin things.
That's kind of a fun thought. She's very she did, I heard somewhere somebody say that at the end of Words of Radiance she had some kind of big failure, but I don't remember what that was. It seems like she succeeded because she saved everybody through the Oath Gate. So
Yeah.
I think she pretty much succeeded.
I think that if we're comparing it to Kaladin's Bridge 4, like Calamity and Way of Kings, she just wins all the time. I mean, her life sucked way worse, kind of, like in their flashback chapters. But like in the present day, she just kind of wins.
No, well, in book 1 though, her entire arc is
True.
a failure.
That's true.
That's true.
She just got her failure out of the way early on.
That's true. She almost fails out of Wizard College or whatever.
I forget who commented on this. It was a comment on my Way of Kings if it could be a movie video. So if you're on this chat and it's you, I apologize for forgetting. But basically suggested that you could basically cut Shallan entirely out of the Way of Kings and just introduce her in Words of Radiance and you would not like lose hardly anything for the story. And that's kind of true, globally speaking.
I could see that working.
Yeah, you just change her parts and put them in. Yeah, that checks. Okay. Are we supposed to talk about predictions here? This is a weird prediction.
Oh yeah, let's do predictions.
I predict that by the time that we're done with this book, Ryan wants to just cut so much more than he even did out of the Way of Kings. It's kind of like he's like, we need to slash this book to 1/3 of its length. Like, you gotta rip this thing up, man.
You might not be too far from the truth.
There's a lot of world building and character development, but me knowing what I think your preferences are, you're gonna be like, yeah, we don't need this. If this is a movie, this wouldn't be here.
I do plan on redoing that video series probably after book 4 at some point.
Okay. I want to see your Words of Radiance. I want to see your
I need to
Oathbringer.
get that one finished.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm still thinking my way through the whole Words of Radiance thing. The Way of Kings video, I literally went into it like blind without thinking about it. And then 3 hours of filming and 7 hours of editing later, I'm like, no, I'm not doing this for Words of Radiance. I'm going to like think it through first and then film my thoughts.
Oh yeah, this was interesting. Yeah, I don't know what this is about. What Gargantuan figure.
I loved this scene so much.
Yes.
Dalinar just goes out in the storm.
Is it this thing?
That's what I was wondering. I was wondering that too, Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever that thing is, Victoria, I don't know.
Is it? I was like, is that a Voidbringer? Is that what a Voidbringer is? I don't know.
I mean, watch Sanderson totally take us on this huge like red herring thing where like the Voidbringers the pretend to be like, wait, they're really not. Like,
Yeah,
that could totally happen.
I could see that.
I don't know.
I don't think it's spoilers to point out things that we've read before, but if you go back to the prelude of The Way of Kings,
Oh, that's too long ago. I'm kidding.
it describes creatures that may look like that creature on the back.
Oh. Man, that's like 2,000 pages ago.
I was very specific when I made my like prelude video and like trying to point out specific weird things like, hey, there's a lot of things in here that you'll see later, but you won't remember any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was crazy. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I think I'm about to say what you're about to say, Victoria. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was a crazy moment. And also, Shallan dealt with it just predictably. She just pushed it down. She was like, I'll deal with that later. Don't think about it. We're not going to face this right now. So eventually she'll have to face it when she like sees Kaladin again. She's going to have to.
I want to know what this information about Hellerin the Ghostbloods have.
Yes. Well, I was wondering, do they really even know anything, or are they just like playing with Shallan? You know,
I'm not convinced they have her brother safe.
Maybe they're just stringing her along to make her work along.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Because they don't have any proof.
Yeah, that's my theory about them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Same.
I really love those giant entities that he comes up with. They're so mysterious, and I never can tell what's going to happen with them. And sometimes they turn out to be like multiple different things. Like, who even is this thing? Like with the Stormfather, everybody thinking he was the Almighty for a while, and then everybody being like, "Wait, who is the Almighty? Who is the Almighty? That's not really God, is it?" Like, so what was at one time one thing has now split into 3.
Yeah.
It's like, how does this even happen?
And now we have the Unmade also. Oh no, where'd she go?
Oh no.
Oh no, we lost Christy.
We've never had that host drop out before.
Oh, she started talking about odium and things she shouldn't talk about.
I like Space D's comment that says, my favorite part of the series was finding out odium is a real word and not made up by Brandon.
Oh dang, I thought it was made up.
It is?
I don't know if the word odium is real, but the word odious definitely is. Hey, she's back.
Oh, sorry guys. That was weird.
We thought odium got you.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, he took her out. That's funny. He wants to stay secret.
Oh, but I was saying, now we have the Unmade also, and we're trying to figure out who they are and how they relate to everything. So are they also pieces of Shard? Is that what the Unmade are? They're just like from the evil Shard. I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Now I'm gonna word search my Oathbringer. I don't
Kristen,
know.
we're officially on theories and predictions, right?
What?
Are we?
Oh,
we're officially on theory. Okay.
Yeah, we are. Go for it. Share them all.
Oh, I don't have that many this time. Okay, my one that I'm thinking is, okay, so at the beginning of every single chapter, we have bits from the Oathbringer preface. And whereas Way of Kings and Words of Radiance were both books from the past, my thought is that Oathbringer is somehow Dalinar's memoirs that he, or a book or something, some papers that he writes at the end of the book. I think it's going to somehow play into Adolin killing Sadeas, and I think Dalinar is going to take the fall for that and step down or something like that. That's my theory. And then basically kind of take all the blame for everything that's gone wrong and kind of take a step back.
Yeah.
So you said you were thinking the Oathbringer was written by Dalinar?
Yeah, or that it will be at the end of the book, maybe.
It will be at the end of the book? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's the little pieces for the chapter.
Yeah.
I've been thinking that was Yasna the whole time. I don't know what you think that, because she's talking, or he or she is talking about going in and out of Shadesmar. So I was thinking this was Yasna.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's a good one. I like that.
And Yasna's on the covers.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Also him.
Yeah.
But it could be maybe Dalinar. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no, the reason I was thinking Dalinar is because the title of the book is Oathbringer. Sword was Oathbringer. The flashbacks are about Oathbringer. But we all know that Sanderson likes to kind of like guide you in one direction, but lay the clues in another direction. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, Nate agrees.
Yeah, I've been thinking in my head it was Yasna. I could be wrong.
This book is just so hard to predict. Like, just because we don't really know like where things are going. Like, Words of Radiance, I feel like was easier just because you knew like Everstorm, like that from the beginning. You knew that was a big part. You were Theru, so just trying to say, okay, putting those clues together, what could be some possibilities? But like, we don't know. At least Victoria and I. Maybe Victoria doesn't. Or maybe just me. Like, don't know where it's going at the end. Like, we know that we have these weird creature things in the back, and we know we have Odium now as like the main supervillain in this whole champion thingy, and we know that the Pershendi may or may not be Voidbringers. But beyond that, it's really kind of hard. It's like almost like Way of Kings. Like, where is this even going?
Yeah, it's just too early to know. But thank you, Nate, for confirming that. So they're pieces of Odium. That's what I was thinking. Did anybody draw a parallel between this creature that Shallan was fighting, and then there was a flashback? Maybe was it in Way of Kings? I don't even remember. But he was fighting. Dalinar was in a vision, and he was fighting like these smoke creatures, and he would like stab them, and they would like have smoke pop them. I was noticing some similarities between the creature that Shallan was fighting and those smoke creatures. I could be wrong, but I was thinking maybe they were the same.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that, but that totally makes sense.
Just based on how it was being described and how she was battling it.
Yeah. Was that one of the earlier visions, or they're all muddled up now in my head?
Yeah, it was in Way of Kings, I think.
Yeah.
It was one of the earlier visions then.
Okay. Was that like the one where he like had to fight in that weird village and then the Radiant shows up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good call, Victoria.
Yeah, too early to tell. I know.
Yeah, 300 pages in.
Angela was pointing out in one of the discords that we're only 30% through at like 300 or 400 pages or so. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. After Rhythm of War, I'm gonna need a nice short book. Like, it makes sense why Sanderson doesn't write these books back to back. Like, it's fatiguing to read them. It's awesome to read them, but like, you need something else in between.
Yeah, I don't even remember what it's like to read a book under 600, 700 pages now.
I think Christy was very smart to pace them at 2 or every 2 months.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm glad you did that.
Yes. Well, it's just so much more enjoyable this way, really getting to digest it. Even though some weeks it's hard not to read ahead.
You just kind of need a break sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing other readathons.
Which,
like Victober or whatever.
Yeah. I just can't wait until the end, so when we do the Rhythm of War episode, to finally get some of Michael and Christy's predictions.
I'm so nervous. I'm not as good as you guys are. You guys are really good at predictions.
I'm not. It's all Ryan and Kristen.
I don't know. No, Victoria. I'm pretty sure.
Really good ones.
I'm pretty sure both of you guys, well, all three of you guys, if you go back and watch the early live streams for both Words of Radiance and Way of Kings, there's so many things you guys got right.
It's gonna be fun to go back and watch those sometime once we have like some space from Stormalong to go back and see.
You know what would be really funny is if we did like reaction videos to those sections.
Yeah, that would be fun. Good idea.
Man.
Yeah. Maybe we can do a reunion next year.
Yeah.
Or maybe all the people in the chat can like go and like download the videos, pull up bits of it, and like point all the parts where we were totally wrong and make their own videos.
I feel like
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Michael.
I feel like I have almost like been this close to taking some of the clips where you guys are predicting things, especially like the 75% mark of books, and then me taking just a clip of the live stream and then reacting to it on my channel, like with a spoiler video, just be like, "What the heck? I want this stream so bad."
Oh man, I'd be down.
Yes, do it.
That already happened once during this live stream.
Yes. Quite a few times, actually.
Oh, man.
Between what you guys are saying and what's happening in the chat, I'm having a very hard time not just losing my crap.
Oh, man. I have to, like, look at the chat, like, just, like, with my peripherals, just because I want to be cautious. I mean, everyone is, like...
Everyone's being cool, but...
being awesome about it.
But. Yeah, our chats are... never really spoilery or anything like that. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, Rich put up a good point. Yeah, so many points where I want to chime in. I know it's killing Rich every single time.
Well, that's what the Discords are for.
I'll be honest, anyone who has like a Stormlight channel on their Discord, I just have to ignore because I'm just so scared. Once it's all over.
Speaking of which, we do have 2 Discords linked down below that I didn't mention in my intro, but Michael and Leslie from the Nerdy Narrative both have Discords with Stormalong sections, and there's a spoilery one and a non-spoiler one, at least in Michael's. So if you want to check it out, you can go there and hang out. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, they have great Discords. I'm kind of surprised we're an hour in and no one's mentioned this yet, unless Rich did in the chat. Page 150. Inappropriate pattern said, such as dividing by 0.
Yes.
Best pattern line, in my opinion, the whole series so far.
Let's talk about our favorite things, because that was like definitely... Rich mentioned that might be one of his favorite quotes. It was definitely one of mine.
Sorry if I spoiled your thunder, Rich.
Oh my gosh. So many good things.
Favorite things. Pattern talking about no mating.
Oh my word, that part is so funny to me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty great.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about that killer wedding?
Okay. I don't know. We were reading that in our reading, and everybody's reactions were pretty funny. Some of us were grossed out, and then some of us were like, "Oh yay, Dalinar!" And I don't know. I'm a little bit on the.
What was the grossed out part? I need to hear this.
Well, there was a scene where like she has her like safe hand unrevealed. They have like this intimate little scene, and it was just kind of like a little bit cringe. Yeah. I'm not a big Bonnie fan in general, but I don't know. They're cute, I guess.
They're cute, I guess.
I love
Victoria,
Navani.
have your next video, please.
Navani's rad.
I just think she's really cool too. I think she's like a really interesting mix of like traditionally masculine and feminine traits, and I really appreciate her. She's like an engineer, you know?
Yeah.
I
Leslie,
like
I would miss her.
as a person, as a character, she's a good character, but I just don't know if I like Dalinar and Navani. And there's the whole like brother thing that I can't get over. I'm so stuck on it.
Just wait.
Oh
Just
no.
wait.
Yeah.
So true.
I mean, he is a Mormon.
Yes. Right? I do not think that middle-aged romance is gross. I think it's really cute, usually.
I think it's just the way that scene was written. I don't know. Every time the safe hand comes in as something like sexy, I'm like, no, stop, no, don't. I don't like that. It's weird.
Some people like left hands. What's the problem here?
You know what the crazy thing though is that, like right at the beginning of the series when like this whole safe hand thing came up, I remember thinking like, this is so stupid. Like, what is this nonsense? But now he's got to the point where like, oh, like safe hand like came out. Like he totally has us buying into it. Like that's just some weird world building right there.
That's very true.
Oh my goodness! Have you? There's like lots of memes where it's like porn websites for Stormlight Archive, but it's just left hand.
I've seen
Oh,
that.
God.
That's so funny.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh.
Space D.
Should I put these on the screen or not?
Yes.
No.
Space D's is so funny. Oh,
Which
man.
ones? Oh, Spacey. Okay.
Basically.
and then Megan's comment.
Oh man.
Oh, man. Somebody should take this clip of this live stream and put some music to it.
Yes. Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
I thought the wedding was cool because you had the Stormfather married them.
Yeah. That was cool.
Also, I didn't
Victoria.
find them gross. I think they're spicy old people.
Yeah. All for it.
I think we killed Angela.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyways. Okay, I thought it was really funny that in the middle of like a meeting about the economy, Sabariel and his mistress, Polona, they're getting a massage just randomly. Yeah. And like, yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, kind of like them reading, like she was reading a novel in the battle at the end of Words.
Yes.
It's just their character to just not really notice what's going on and enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I love it in the
And,
flashback,
you know,
one of the last ones we just read, where I think Gavilar's like, is Serbiel going to show up? And Dalian's like, nah, like he's a loser.
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing past attitudes is fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of the past, okay. We thought about trying something new here tonight, so we're gonna see how it goes. But we came up with a game, like a short-ish game, where I'm gonna show you some quotes. You can tell me if you think it's young Dalinar or old Dalinar. And some of these quotes have already been used tonight. Thanks, Rich.
Dang it, Rich.
Rick always comes in clutch.
Yes. Okay.
I want to see
start with
Rich
this.
on like a Stormlight Archive game show night.
Yes. Oh, he would beat us all.
Oh, yes.
Young Dalinar, old Dalinar. What do you guys think?
Oh, I don't remember this quote. I was reading
That's young Dalinar, I think.
It reeks of young Dalinar to me.
Okay, we'll go with it. Young Dalinar.
We have a consensus.
Angela and Leslie and Nate, they're all saying young.
They all think
Rich
young.
promises not to cheat.
I don't know if old Dalinar would use the word stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Rich thinks it's old. We have one old.
Oh, frick. I don't want to bet against Rich.
I know.
Maybe he's just being a contrarian.
Okay, I'll
Toddler
tell you.
Toddler Dalinar.
Which one? What? I missed it.
It says Toddler Dalinar.
Toddler Dalinar. Rich trying to hustle. That's funny. It is young Dalinar.
Yay.
Yep. This is where he and Gavilar are talking about the purposes of war. And Gavilar is like, shouldn't there be something more to it? Like why we're doing all of this? And Dalinar's like, nah, it's just about taking stuff. We saw some stuff, we wanted it, we took it. That's what we did. And that's what war is. Okay.
Well, that was very cynical.
Yeah.
Hey, Una.
Hey, Una.
Hey, Una.
Yes, quizzes are. Hey, you came just in time for the quiz.
You heard quiz and came running.
Yes. Thank you for the inspiration. I totally stole it.
What? Chad Dalinar. Oh my word. Hit us with the next quote, please.
Okay. Let's change the topic. Sometimes a hypocrite is nothing more than a person who is in the process of changing.
Old Dalinar,
I agree with that, Victoria.
I think.
It's old Dalinar, and it's also like one of my freaking favorite quotes from the series period.
I think I put a tab on that one. I remember tabbing it.
I quote this one in real life.
It's a good quote.
Oh my goodness. Okay. It
Gotta
looks
have
like
Dalinar.
looks like we have a consensus. Oh, great quote. Good. I'm glad you liked it. Okay. Daddy Dalinar. Dalinar. Oh man. This is great. Okay. Well, you're all right. It was older Dalinar. Yes.
So, guys,
Yeah,
think
well-
about this. We've guessed right double the amount of questions that Rich has.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't-
that was during the Terravengeance combo.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that one. Okay, let's do this one.
Ooh.
Oh.
I can see this one being a trick question. Frick.
Yeah. I'm going with old.
I could see this being a like Dalinar is talking to Navani behind the scenes, and he's trying to be like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So I'll say old Dalinar.
I'm gonna be a contrarian and say young.
Looks like we've got some olds.
I'm saying old.
Oh dang, now they're bleeding into each other and I'm not sure which answers are for which.
Oh no.
Looks like mostly old though. I think
We're
that's
just going to
what
have to pull the quote and tell us.
Yolanda says young.
Young. Okay, one person says young. Okay. And Victoria. Sorry, you count too, Victoria. Two people say young. Okay. It's old. This was when the Dalinar was like, okay, Stormfather, take me down to this part. I want to see this part of the vision more closely. And he's like, that's not what you're supposed to be doing with this vision. And he's like, just ignore that. Just hang with me for a sec. Let's go down there. It's like at the very beginning.
Una showed up for his favorite version of Stormlight Trivia because the answer is always
Always
Dalinar.
Dalinar.
If you guys
Yes.
don't, I don't know. If you guys don't know what this is, the Codex Cantina are like they do literary analysis, and they normally cover like classics and classic short stories and more literary stuff from the past. But they did a fun video and did I said that as if their other videos weren't fun. But they decided to read The Way of Kings. They decided to read The Way of Kings for Storm Along, and then they did a big wrap up, and they did trivia. They did all kinds of fun stuff with The Way of Kings. So you should check out their channel, and they have a fun video.
They're one of the most freaking awesome channels in BookTube, and that video is one of their highlights.
Yes.
Yes, that video is awesome. I watched it on my lunch break and enjoyed every second of it.
Megan's comment's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Dalinar and the Stormfather.
Oh, they're
I'm gonna
both dead.
Good point. That makes sense why they're now bonded. They're like the only people their own age.
He's not that old.
Word.
I'm gonna put the Codex Cantina video in the description below. I'm actually doing it right now. So if you want to check it out after the stream, it's down there. And yeah.
Is that a squirrel? The squirrel emoji?
Yeah,
I thought it was marked on my screen. I was trying to like scratch it off.
Dallas.
Dallas
Oh my gosh.
That sounds like a dubstep album.
I love when
Okay.
those late y'all get slap happy. It's my favorite part.
All right, I'm gonna do the next quote. And yes, the answer is Dalinar, but which one? I must never be king.
Ooh, this is a trick one. This is both. No, I'm gonna go with young.
I'm gonna go
I think it's old.
old. I'm gonna go with old too.
All right, let's see what everybody thinks.
Oh no, there's a lot of contention here.
Well, I know in Way of Kings he alludes to he alludes to that, but if we're talking strictly Oathbringer quotes, I think it's young.
Lots of youngins here. Lil Dalinar.
Well, no.
His rapper name. Okay. This is young Dalinar.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Well done, guys. This is after he... I don't want to spoil things for Una, but this is after he almost kills somebody that he really didn't want to kill. So, yeah. It's one of those moments.
We've
One of
all
those
been
life
there.
changers. Yeah.
We've all almost killed someone close to us. Dang it.
Yes. That it's also just after that. Very good. Yes.
Yep.
Sometimes the best quotes are right after you stab somebody in the face.
Yeah.
Where's my copy words of radiance? What did Adeline say at the end? Oops.
That's probably true, Rich. He probably did say that as an old man in the previous books.
I think he has.
He definitely alluded to it in Way of Kings.
I
I think.
should specify, all of these quotes are from the first quarter of Oathbringer.
Gotcha.
The great thing about the Codex's quiz is they also threw in like multiple choice, but also someone from not Stormlight, like Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their quizzes are awesome and way more high-tech than this one. This one is like, here's a quote, but they have like sound effects and all kinds of stuff. Glad you made it.
Yay, thanks for joining us.
Okay. Well, everybody should know this one. I felt like these would be too easy, but I'm glad that we did them anyway. This is fun. Here we go. What scene is this? Is this young Dalinar or old Dalinar?
You should make it harder, Chrissy. Make us guess what page it was.
I wouldn't know that. I couldn't verify.
This is the youngster.
Yes, definitely young.
All right. Hang on, I'm just titling Codex Cantina's Stormlight Archives video. Save. Okay, it's in the description now.
Best Dalinar.
Best Dalinar.
Oh no, Daladog.
Yes.
Beat by Parchentre.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh man.
The dog.
Oh no.
Yes.
Dilly dally.
Oh man.
No, 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 no.
Oh, we got an old and wizened.
Old and wizened.
Oh my gosh. I meant young. Okay. Okay. Well, y'all are right. It's the young one.
It's a very memorable quote.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Okay, why don't we move on to open mic and we can talk about whatever we want. Whatever you guys want. Just let us know in the chat. But I can do more quotes if you want. I have a few more. Whatever we want to do. Let me know in the chat, guys. Oh man, I love all the names for Dalinar.
Yeah. He did nothing wrong in our.
Out of curiosity, that's not what I mean. I'm curious, how was your guys' reading this time? Did you pace it out? Did you read it all this week? How did you space this?
I think for me, this is the best paced one. I think I did like 2 or 3 chapters a day pretty regularly, just because last time was a rush to the end, and then I felt like I remembered very few details 2 weeks later.
That's very responsible of you. I almost always rush to the end. Every time. I read when we did our read-in, I read 4 chapters, and then I didn't read again till like this Monday or Sunday.
But that's the more fun way to do it.
That's been my style so far.
Nice.
It's just, I ask because it's so much harder to do in this book. It's just significantly longer than the previous two.
Do that.
Yeah.
I agree with Angela on the open mic question. Shallan stresses me the frick out like all the time. Like
Yes.
she did in Words of Radiance. This book is like non-stop Shallan stress for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because now she's a little bit too confident in getting herself into these hectic situations every freaking chapter.
It's like you hear people say, like, I know enough to be dangerous. That's how she is with all of her powers. She's like, I can sneak into anywhere. And then it's like, you are going to die.
She stabbed her hand. She's like, I'll heal it later.
Yeah.
She's also stabbing horn eaters through the hand. Like, she's going to get herself killed.
Yeah.
And drinking a lot. She's going to become an alcoholic, I think.
Oh, prediction.
Shallan's becoming an alcoholic.
I was gonna use that for Stormlight Archives predictions later on. I was like, oh yep, she's gonna be an alcoholic.
If she goes to Alcoholics Anonymous, what does she say her name is?
Oh.
Good question.
I am Legion.
Oh wow, yeah.
Not that I think she's that bad. But...
Angela.
Wait, which one? This one?
Yes.
Yes.
Lion King moment.
I would talk about, dang it, I can't ever remember the actor's name. I always talk about how Dalinar's voice in my head is the guy that did the God of War game. My alternative Dalinar voice is Mufasa.
James Earl Jones?
Yes.
I buy it.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it you said, Victoria, earlier this week? It was about coffee. And we asked, would pattern like coffee?
Well, Christy was saying how she likes decaf coffee now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, decaf would be Pattern's favorite because it's a lie.
Yes, that was it.
So great.
It's true though.
It's totally true.
Christopher Judge is my first Dalinar choice. James Earl Jones is the backup. Yes, that's the name. Thank you. I can never remember his name.
They gotta hurry up and make this movie. James Earl Jones is like 80 something.
Is it going to be like what? How old was the guy who played Saruman in the last Hobbit movie?
Oh yeah,
Lee?
he was approaching 90.
Yeah, he was a real old. Like he didn't walk in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think he passed away like right after the last movie came out.
Stupid.
Pat would love skim milk. Yes, he would.
Oh, we need more lies in this chat. What are some more lies that Pattern would love?
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, vegan meat probably.
Yeah. The Impossible Burger.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Oh, thoughts on Malata? That's a good question or topic.
Oh, yes, I almost forgot about Malata because we've only seen her like for a second, but that's
She's the other radiant, right?
She's the first Dustbringer. I think we've really seen.
Yeah, and her radiant or her brand is Spark, right? I think. Is that his name?
Yes, Spark.
Yeah.
She's the first. I think she's the first Dustbringer. And from what I know about Dustbringers, they like to take things apart and like mess things up. Maybe.
Yeah.
Is she going to mess some stuff up? Maybe. I don't know.
Pattern certainly thought so.
Yeah. She's interesting.
I don't like to trust anybody involved with Mr. T.
Yeah, there's that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, she was when they were talking about. I didn't remember them talking about her in the other Teravangian chapters at all. So she must have come fairly newly into the.
She first showed up when Mr. T showed up with the Oath Gate.
Okay.
Mhm.
She was the one who opened out the other side, I think.
Okay. Coke Zero. Lies.
Well, ask any Southerner about Northern iced tea and they'll call it a lie.
Amen. I agree with that. I want that crap to be syrup when I drink it.
Oh, man. I remember when I first moved to the South, I had never heard of sweet tea before. People were like,
man.
what?
It's
What?
so good. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, now I'm addicted, but...
Margarine is a lie. So true.
What about Miracle Whip?
Oh yeah.
What's that stuff? I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pattern would not believe it either.
I should say too, it was actually Angela in Michael's Discord who inspired our quotes game partially by mentioning the difference between old and young Dalinar. And I was like, yeah, it's really striking, isn't it?
Yeah.
So thank you, Angela. That's what got the gears turning. And then I just like stole wholesale from Una and Crypto. Oh my
Hey,
goodness.
lies.
Two people said the exact same thing. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
At the same time, that's so good.
That's great.
Oh, man.
Yes, really.
I feel like there should be so many like more easy ones to think of.
Oh,
We
man.
live in America and it's 2020. I mean, I don't want to be cynical here, but our lives are like lies in so many ways.
That's true. If we had a power outage for too long, like our entire lives would change dramatically.
I mean, okay, if you want to read, this is another Stormalong beef section. I disagree with Christy about the original by Brandon Sanderson and Mary Robinette Cole.
Oh, yeah.
That book is a very like it looks at a lot of the facades that we have in the modern day life and just kind of extrapolates them. Everything is
It
a lie.
does. It's just so boring. IMO. Hot take. Thanks for hanging out, Angela.
Yeah,
It's great
thanks,
talking with you.
I'm glad that we aren't putting you to sleep.
Yeah.
Michael Nip likes trash. What the heck, Leslie? What the crap?
Yep. That was I linked to your video in my video, and I named the link Michael Nip likes trash.
I didn't catch that. That's amazing.
And I think Leslie was the only one who saw that, and it made me really happy that she noticed
That's
it.
so good. I'm happy in retrospect.
So speaking of Leslie, is Battleground a lie?
Oh no.
Oh, this is going
She
to
was
unleash the
She read a
torrent.
script on that once today.
Well, it is almost 7:30. I should probably start wrapping this up. Although I would love to.
Sorry, Leslie.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Okay. So.
Oh, we have
What
shirts for this.
That's funny.
Okay. Oh yeah. Done with that as well. Okay. Cool. Now, this was really, really fun. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. This was a really, really fun and funny chat. And I hope you guys are excited about continuing on with Oathbringer. And we will let you know as soon as we have a read-in date scheduled so we can jump into another section together. It won't be this week, but we'll see. Maybe the next week. Maybe yeah, we'll see. Probably on a Sunday, I think, is what we were talking about.
Yeah, that seems to work for everybody.
Okay, cool. All right, you guys. This was awesome. Thank you again for coming.
Yes, thank you. Rich
Thank
put up a
you.
good point. We East Coasters try to keep our eyelids open. That's right.
Yeah. Better let you guys go get some sleep.
And you just watch Ryan's eyelids just start drooping.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, you East Coasters and everybody else.
Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome.
Bye, guys.
Bye.